I think he's weak. Is that you?
Yeah, I think it's weak up.
Oh, wow, caller. This wire here just shook hard. I don't know if anybody heard that. He just knocked off the camera.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Paranormal Among Us. On today's show, we'll hear from Michael McDonald of Kindred Moon Productions. He'll talk to me about his almost 40 years of investigating, where he liked investigating the most, and one pretty cool story about helping someone. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But first, I'd like to share with you an email I received from Ryan in Illinois. He writes, "After my dad passed away about 7 years ago, I became more spiritual than religious and looked at things a whole lot differently. Well, I always have this kind of feeling in my gut when I know he's around. The first one, I'm driving through the middle of nowhere in Illinois on my way back home from Wisconsin. I associate the song See You Again by Wiz Khalifa with my dad. It came out about the time he died and we played it at his funeral. Well, the song came on and I listened to it. Cried, of course, and then changed the station to the same song on a different point in the song. So I listened to it again, cried, and changed the station. And I shit you not, it was playing the same song. It's a rap song, but it was playing on a station that normally plays country music. So I turned on the radio and said, all right, I know you're here. What do you have to say to me? What's going on? And clear as day, I heard in my dad's voice, go have fun tonight. I'm going to take care of you. I used to gamble a lot, and my dad hated it. I was planning on going to the casino when I got home with the girl I was dating at the time. I played 3-card poker, a game I hadn't ever played before, and I hit a royal flush. It paid out 1,000 to 1 on a $5 bet. The next story happened about 9 months ago, and he writes, I was golfing one afternoon and had a butterfly constantly flying around my head and my cart as I was driving for 3 holes. And again, I had that feeling in my gut that my dad was around. So again, I said, all right, what are you trying to tell me? And again, clear as day, as if he was standing right next to me, he says, she's pregnant. I said, no way. And again, he said, she's pregnant. I go back and forth a couple times, and he keeps saying, she's pregnant. I didn't say anything to my wife or to anyone because most people look at you like you have 3 heads when you tell them these stories. 2 days after my golf outing, the dog jumps on the couch and nestles his head real gently under my wife's stomach, and she goes, easy, you weirdo. It's not like there's a baby in there. I said, well, let me tell you about what happened to me the other day. And then 8 days later, she takes a pregnancy test, and it comes back positive that she's pregnant. What an awesome story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ryan. I should also say that they are expecting their first child in May of this year. Now, if you or anyone that you know has a story to share, like Ryan's, please feel free to email me at paranormalamongus72@gmail.com. That's paranormalamongus72@gmail.com. And I'll read it on a future episode. Now, on with the show and my interview with Michael McDonald from Kindred Moon Productions. Michael, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Now, how long have you been investigating paranormal?
Probably like actually leaving the house and going out to other places since I was probably 13, 14, like around that time, maybe 16 years old. When I could drive, it was a lot easier to be able to drive to locations and stuff. So
yeah,
kind of hard to convince your parents were like, "Hey, could you drop me off at this old creepy place out in the woods so I can ghost hunt?"
Red flag, red flag.
Right, right. Michael, no.
Now, what got you interested in doing stuff like this?
My family were like migrational farmers, so they would travel a lot. You know, I was born in Michigan, ended up in Missouri, but we've lived all over the place, wherever I guess the work would take them, and a lot of places were in the deep South, and we would be put up into these old homes, like plantation homes and old houses and stuff like that. And there was a lot of paranormal stuff that would happen to me, you know, when I was younger. You know, like I
Mhm.
remember there were times that I would be playing with some GI Joes, some toys and stuff like that, and I'd go in the kitchen and get something to snack on or drink of water, and come back in. And the toys would be like either gone or in different positions or
Wow.
somewhere else in the room than where I left them.
Mhm.
I've had, you know, closet doors opening, and then I was like, oh, that's, you know, creepy, but maybe it's just the shifting of the old house, whatever. And then they would close, and then the doorknob would, you know, jingle a couple
Ooh.
times. Yeah. I've had sheets pulled off of me in the middle of the night. Just stuff like that, you know, and it just terrified me. You know, as a child, you don't know what's going on. So I was scared, you
Yeah.
know, and over time, you know, I couldn't really get out of that position. So over time, I had to kind of like accept my situation and try to come up with rationalized, you know, reasoning for what was happening.
Mhm.
And I started researching and, you know, going to libraries, you know, going to school stuff, you know, and looking up ghosts and traditional stuff and religion, this and that. And I'm just over
Mhm.
time, I gathered knowledge and started, you know, to comprehend things, you know, about things that we could not see or understand in the unknown and stuff like that. And it's progressed over time to where it like seasoned me as an investigator wanting to seek out the unknown because the paranormal seemed like no matter where I went, it always was following me, or the locations were haunted themselves, or something was attached to probably furniture that my parents, you know, took with them, and you know, it was just something was going on. But the paranormal seemed like it was always a part of my life, so that's pretty much what got me into it.
When you first had the first experience, I mean, before that, did you believe in ghosts and paranormal and stuff like that? Or
Not really.
did it take a few things that scare the crap out of you to get you to
Yeah,
believe?
yeah, it took a few things because I was raised as you know, a Southern Baptist,
Mhm.
you know, and a lot of religions, you know, don't really push or promote the paranormal. To
Right.
them, it's either, you know, it's from God or it's from the devil, you
Right.
know, and if it's not a blessing from God, then it is of the devil, you know. So I thought that the devil was coming after me. You know, I was like, what the heck did I do to
Yeah.
deserve this? You know, it was
Yeah.
terrifying. I was like, you know, am I cursed, you know, or you know, like what's going on? So it was quite terrifying, you know, to get to that point of understanding that there's just more than just, you know, heaven and hell. There's, you know, and start researching the Bible, stuff like that, you know, they speak about, you know, the Holy Ghost,
Mhm.
you know, and they speak about spirits and stuff like that, you know. And even though, you know, that a lot of organized religious groups saying, you know, that there is only heaven and hell, if you start researching more, you discover that there is more than just those levels of realms and stuff like that.
Right.
And then you start to realize, you know, what is really ghosts, you know, um, because like throughout my findings, you know, and experience, I found out the ghost is not just one typical thing. It's not just they're just spirits, you
Right.
know, haunting a place or a thing or a person. You know, a lot of things debate on vibrations, frequencies, energies,
Mhm.
different dimensions. I mean, all these things take place when it comes to paranormal activity, and these are all things that need to be considered. you
Mhm.
know, of what could be causing paranormal, activity. And even like poltergeists, those are a different type of haunting because there's different types of hauntings, of course.
Right.
And like poltergeist itself is kinetic energy. It's created from kinetic energy from a person themselves. So the human body themselves and mind and energy can create something that can be like that, a noisy
Right.
ghost that moves things and scares you by doing things, So it has ghosts are more than just a religious belief, and
Right.
then over time you obtain that knowledge and it empowers you and
Mhm.
turns that fear into strength, So
Right.
that's how I progressed from being such a scared child of what was happening to me to more of a accepting, understanding, and facing
Mhm.
and wanting to acquire more knowledge about what was going on around
Now, would you say that it's also not just moving objects or hearing noises, bumps in the middle of the night or whatever? Would you also say that it's smells?
me. Oh,
Because
absolutely. I
I've
mean,
smelt my dad's aftershave downstairs in our basement. My wife has bumped into her father and smelled his aftershave. I mean that too, right?
oh, absolutely. A lot of people get misconstructed thinking that paranormal activity is just like you see an apparition,
Yeah.
and there's a ghost there or whatever, or things, move, whatever. Ghosts communicate in multiple different ways, smells, sounds,
Mhm.
moving stuff, of course, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, um, like I said, it kind of comes into play of the different types of hauntings too, because like you have some that are just kind of like a replay of energy of something that happened when the person was alive and it's just repeating itself over and over and over versus an intelligent haunting which they can interact with you and all that kind of stuff too. They kind of just frequently from how they're going to communicate with you is the type of haunting that it's going to be. But yes, smells, absolutely. I've had plenty of cases where we went in and the family does not smoke whatsoever, but the grandfather literally smoked cigars, and you can smell the cigar in the room whenever we were investigating. And then it would literally remove from that room and then appear in his bedroom instead of the front
Yeah.
So yeah, that's absolutely for real.
And, and it's one of those things where people who are new to paranormal investigations, they see these TV shows that, you have an interaction with a ghost or a spirit or something, and they're talking back and forth, and you're like, is that really real?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you've had that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You gotta take on consideration, they're in the TV movie genre, in the world. There are a lot of things that are done for entertainment purposes only,
Hmm.
and you need to be educated about the paranormal before really going into that. So that
Hmm.
way you can tell what is real and what is not, and what
Hmm.
is could be staged and what is not
Right.
staged
Right.
or exaggerated and not exaggerated, you know. That's why when we did our show, I strictly said, no bullshit. We're going to do this for real. It's going to be 100% raw.
Hmm.
Um, we know nothing. No, you experience the way it is, and no, don't over exaggerate, over drama, anything. Just be you and be real.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stand any of the I want to say fakeness, but you kind of know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
And if if you understand the paranormal and you do your research, you'll be able to decipher what is real and what is not when what you see on TV.
Right. Right. So you've been doing this for uh over 30 years.
Yes.
Have you well, first of all, before I ask this question, do you approach places to go investigate, or do people come to you and say, we've had so and so happen and stuff? can you look into this? How do you do your investigations?
Done many things. We were approached by people that were distraught and scared and seeking help for paranormal things that were going on in their lives that were affecting them and their families and their children or whatever. And they called us in to come in and uh, diagnose, evaluate, help them with the situation. To me, a paranormal investigator is not just a person that goes and investigates ghosts or paranormal. We go in and we helped people in need that was in fear. And there's a lot of times that we went and investigated and it wasn't even paranormal. It was somebody reaching out for help, whether it be domestic violence,
Yeah.
whether it be drugs in the house, whether it be emotional or mental problems, whatever it was, we went in there and we got them connected to people that could help, and we would help them in any way that we could. Once we diagnosed and analyzed the situation, figured out what was going on, we would get them, if we couldn't fix the problem ourselves, we would get them in touch with people that could help them, whether it be churches, whether it be, you know, organizations that helped people with situations that was
Mhm.
needed. So yeah, a lot of cases aren't paranormal, but investigate. It's a job, at least I believe so, of an investigator to go in and help people regardless of the situation. Um, Now we have on downtime went to places that we wanted to investigate, and famous hauntings to see if we got the readings and the activity that they claim to get in those famous places. And I've also been a guest investigator for many different events at famous hauntings as well,
Mhm.
that I had to show up and stuff like that. But yeah, we've had so many cases, bro, thousands. There was like a case of a family, um, a man and a wife, and they've been married for 25 years, and she was seeing all kinds of paranormal things, and it was affecting their relationship. Like they were on the verge of divorce,
Wow.
and she reached out to us, and we went there and we investigated. And yeah, we were getting readings and everything, but we concluded that we had no doubt that she was seeing things that she was claiming that she was seeing. But what it was in the end was is that the husband was an electrician, but he was older, and he went through and I guess rewired the house, but he didn't use the proper shielding on the wiring, so it was giving off like mad EMF fields. So she was
Oh.
surrounded by these EMF fields, and it was making her hallucinate and see
Oh,
things that weren't
wow.
there. Yeah, and it was on the verge of, I mean, the bottom reveal to them of our findings, everybody was in tears,
Yeah.
and we, I became a marriage counselor, all of a sudden instead of a paranormal investigator, and we saved their marriage. Everybody was
That's
crying. I
awesome.
mean, everybody on the team, the couple, we were all crying and hugging each other. They were so thankful that we
Mhm.
found out what was going on and what was causing the issues, and that we gave them the answers they needed. And they were apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry, I thought you were crazy. And he was like, I'm sorry that I felt like I was crazy, and it gave them that that meaningful answer to the problems they were having. And that felt better than anything in the world. And that's the
Yeah.
reason why we do the stuff that we do,
Yeah.
at least why I do
Yeah.
it. But I mean, there's other, I could go on and on about the different cases,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I have thousands,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it was a mixture of, being called for help and versus
Mhm.
going and checking out places we wanted to, and then being guest investigator for big events.
Yeah.
I've been to places where I had to give lectures,
Yeah.
and I've bumped elbows with and worked with many, many famous people that are on TV.
Really?
I was very, very, very close with Lorraine Warren, which I'm sure you probably
Oh
know.
yeah, heard of her.
We had each other on speed dial, and I worked with many cases with her,
Hmm.
and actually dedicated one of my books to her too, because she was like a mom to me,
Yeah.
and we always was throwing stuff back and forth, trying to, figure stuff out together on certain
Hmm.
cases and stuff. But, I worked with people from Ghost Hunters, Paranormal State, and other TV shows. And I actually filmed a few pilots for a couple TV shows for A&E and a couple other
Hmm.
sci-fi and this and that. But my health got bad.
Yeah.
So that kind of like threw everything, a wrench in the whole thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Got to take care of the health first.
yeah.
We have about 8 minutes before we get kicked off here.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you one big question here. Of all the places that you've investigated,
Mhm.
what is one that you went into and just got like a ton of evidence and it was just an amazing investigation?
Oh God.
That's a good one for the last
So
question,
many.
right?
Right. There's so
I mean, is there
many.
one that stands out to you besides the saving the family there that is
Yeah.
something
Are
that
we talking
really
about like places that I wanted to go to, or just like a family one?
places that you
Th-
wanted to go to? Yeah.
Things that I wanted to go to, not a personal case. Okay. Um, Sally's house is one of the ones I've been through.
Sally's house.
Sally's house in Atkinson, Kansas. I
Okay.
think there's a couple movies about it and a few shows, and it was on Hauntings, and it was on our show too, Kindred Moon Paranormal.
Hmm.
But yeah, you see these movies, and you're like, man, that can't be going on, and they believed that it was a little girl haunting the place. But when we went in, our findings much more different, much more darker. It
Wow.
for sure, in my opinion, is a demonic haunting,
Hmm.
and it's a powerful. It's a
Wow.
powerful. I mean, from the moment we got there, the hair just kind of stands up. It seems you welcome
Yeah.
property. The hair just stands up, and it feels like little needles kind of
Hmm.
poking you in the skin and stuff. And we were going to do our show there, so my cousin I went and was filming all the still shots, not still shots, but regular shots of the
Yeah.
outside the house,
Yeah.
inside the house, and this and that.
The
She was
cutaway
downstairs
shots.
in the yeah, she was downstairs in the basement, and she was filming, and she heard footsteps coming down the stairs, and she was like, "Mike, is that you?" And she looked over and turned the camera that way, and nothing was there. And then you could literally hear the footsteps come down even farther, and she was like, "Mike," she's holding the camera right there on the stairs. She was Mike, and you hear
Ooh.
this thing like run at her and stuff like that, and there was nothing on camera. You can't see.
I'm getting
So
chills.
oh yeah, she took off, and then there were just so many crazy, amazing things that happened during that
Yeah.
investigation. We literally went back there, I think, 4 different times because we were getting so much evidence and stuff like that that was going on. From we had like these balls that if you moved them enough, they would light up and stuff, but you had
Yeah.
to move them pretty
Yeah.
far. They were just going off on crazy and stuff. We had an investigator
Wow.
that went to the bathroom, and we were all in the front room, trying to chill and rest after a hardcore attack on it. And she came out. She goes, "Was anybody laughing near the kitchen? Because that's where the bathroom was." Like, no. She goes, "I was just in the bathroom, and I heard this evil laugh that just went on and on. It scared me, and I couldn't finish
Oh,
going to the bathroom." And oh man, yeah. I mean, there were just so many
wow.
things that were going on. Stuffed animals were being moved from one room to the other.
That's awesome.
Growls, just bangs. I mean, it
Hmm.
was a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Are you still with us or did you leave?
We're still with you. No.
No, I'm at the door.
Oh. Okay, I think that camera's good. Where's my hat? It's over here. Anytime he will talk to you or give you some sort of a sign color, I think he's weak. Is that you?
Yeah,
Leave it,
I
switch
think
it.
it's Nico.
Oh wow, caller. This wire here just shook hard. I don't know if anybody heard that. It just knocked off the camera. It just knocked off the camera.
Well, Michael McDonald, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
Absolutely.
It's been incredible. Where can people find episodes from Kindred Moon?
Kindred Moon Paranormal is on Amazon, and Amazon Prime, as well as my books. I've published 5 books so far. I got 3 more in the works. Also, we have a YouTube channel that you can catch like extras that we do on Kindred Moon Network on YouTube. And we're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as well.
Awesome.
Kindred Moon Paranormal, Kindred Moon Productions, and Kindred Moon Empire.
And I will have links to all that stuff in the show notes for this show here. Michael, I greatly appreciate you taking the time. I really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. And that's all the time we have for today. My thanks to Michael McDonald of Kindred Moon Productions. I'll have all of his information in the show notes of where you can find his episodes. Also, thank you to Ryan from Illinois for sharing his stories with us. I really do appreciate that, Ryan. If you have a story that you would like to share of the paranormal, please email me at paranormalamongus72@gmail.com. That's paranormalamongus72@gmail.com, and I'll read it on a future episode. And thank you for watching today. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content that comes out. And until next time, stay safe, everyone, and I will see you on the next Paranormal Among Us.